Let's get right into it now. Despite its small size, the Holy Land features a rich and varied plant life. And exactly, or approximately, 110 plants are mentioned in the Bible. But there is a certain ambiguity in the text, which sometimes makes exact identification of the plant difficult, since the Bible offers, a lack of detailed descriptions, and usually mentions plants only in passing. Now, the translations of the scriptures into Greek, the Septuagint, and Latin, the Vulgate, adds a bit to the confusion. Rabbis and early church fathers, they identify biblical plants with those found locally in their own region. And over the course of centuries, biblical-sounding names are assigned to flora. For example, many fruits and dates are available in the Holy Land, but biblical scholars are uncertain which exactly are referred to. For example, the tapua. This is a fruit mentioned in the book of Proverbs, the book of Joel, as well as the Song of Solomon, one of my favorite books in the Old Testament. It could be an apple, it could be an apricot, or it could be a pomegranate, which is most likely. And I also want to talk about the Shoshana of the Valley, which is also mentioned in the Song of Solomon. This could be a lotus, it could be a hyacinth, a narcissus, a rose, etc., or perhaps even a group of flowers of some kind. We really just don't know. Now, the cedar wood of Lebanon seems to be of special interest in the Bible and is mentioned in the scriptures over 70 times, while wheat, which is, of course, a main crop and dietary staple, is only mentioned 30 times in the Bible. So go figure. Now, since specific plants are not mentioned in great number or great detail, we must use comparative data from Egypt and Mesopotamia, as to which plants grew wild and which were cultivated and or harvested. So we know there was lots of wheat, barley, legumes, and fruits and vines in the Holy Land. And now, in the Bible, the book of Genesis, God's blessing is linked to abundant rainfall and plentiful crops, while his curse is linked to the lack of these items, or the opposite. And the garden is the best of all possible places. So biblical metaphors and parables are rooted in the plant world. The symbolism of individual plants. For example, you have the mustard seed, which is referring to fertility and abundance, and you have the cedar tree, which, of course, is linked to height and longevity. Plant representations adorned the columns and carvings of the Solomonic temple, and the Hasmonean and Herodian dynasties' coins were loaded with plant imagery. The mosaics of synagogues in Roman and Byzantine Palestine were loaded with representations of plants, both realistic and stylized. So we do have considerable evidence that plants played a, considerable role in the lives of the ancient Israelites. And the Old Testament also features medicinal plants. The book of Sirach, for example, clearly states that the Lord created medicines from the earth. So, a plant also plays an important role, an important part in the conversion of Moses, which is linked to a bush, a burning bush. A burning bush that acts as the oracle or medium through which God speaks to Moses. An angel of the Lord appears in the flame of this miraculous bush that burns brightly, but somehow is not consumed. The burning bush is not only a plant oracle. It's not the only plant oracle in the Bible. For example, a balsam tree tells David when to begin his attack on the Philistines. Also in the book of Genesis, Leah and Rachel, the daughters of Laban, want to bear sons for Jacob and compete for his affections. Both sisters end up his wives. Rachel, who is barren, only becomes pregnant after taking a dose of the mandrake root. Now, the mandrake root has a turnip-like forked shape, a shape that resembles a human being. The ancients used the deadly root as a charm and as an aphrodisiac, and they also used it for its narcotic and medicinal purposes. So mandrake got a lot of play back in the ancient world. Now, to the ancient Egyptians and the Israelites, the root was considered magical and was symbolic of sex, love, and fertility. During the Middle Ages, folklore develops around the nightshade plant, and it acquires a nickname, Little Gallows, since it was believed that the root grew underneath a gallows. It grows from the sperm of a hanged man, who, while dying, shoots his seed into the ground, fertilizing the root. The Song of Solomon also mentions a love potion, love plant, the Duda, which most biblical scholars believe to be mandrake. The Song of Solomon also uses the fruit with many seeds, the pomegranate, as a fertility symbol. The opening of the fruit is highly sexual and symbolic of deflowering a virgin in the text. The red color of the fruit and flesh is linked to love, life, blood, and death. And the ancient Jews also linked the pomegranate to the, adherence of the laws of Moses, the Torah. Imagery of the fruit was found all over ancient Israel, of course, including the Solomonic Temple. Pomegranates were very big in ancient Israel. The pomegranate was sacred in ancient Greece and linked to the goddess Demeter, as well as Aphrodite and Hera. In Rome, newlyweds wore garlands made from the branches of the pomegranate tree, and in India, the sap from the tree was utilized as a cure for infertility. In the Middle Ages and Christianity, the red juice of the fruit was linked to the blood of the martyrs, and its aroma and many seeds were thought to be a symbol of the Virgin Mary's virtues, as well as the perfection and infinite goodness of God. Let's move on to the Greeks, who were